Good afternoon. My name is Scott Bradley, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看今天的直击美股，我是主持人张舒，在纽约向您问好。周一美股小幅度的收跌，但是总的来说依然是持平。其实今天美股开市的时候是有一个不错的上涨，而这也是出乎了很多人的意料。因为就在这周末呢，由于纽约的这个爆炸的消息呢，也是引发了一些担忧。但是周一我们看到这样子一个市场上涨的这样一个利好消息呢，也是稳定了今天的一个情绪。总的来说，本周市场将会重点关注周三两个大国央行的一个最新利率决议，其中之一呢就是美联储。美联储在9月份虽然是被期待将保持利率不变，但是珍妮耶伦的一个鹰派或者说鸽派的一个论调呢，将会决定市场对于12月份加息与否的这么一个期待。另一个呢就是日本央行，由于日本央行此前它的央行行长表示正在重新评估日本央行的一个货币政策，因此在这次会议上是否会有更进一步的量化宽松政策的这样一个出台呢，也是引发了很多市场的关注。而今天另外一个引发市场关注呢，那就是原油。在上一周我们看到原油是使得市场承压，但是就在今天的委内瑞拉的总统表示将会在本月晚一些时候呢，可能达成一个这样子的一个协议来稳定当前的市场油价。这样子一个消息一出之后呢，也是极大程度上的提振了今天原油市场的一个表现。好的，更多的消息让我们来一块儿看一下今天的交易员访谈。Hi Scott, U.S. futures were up this morning, and actually considering the bomb news, it was quite surprising for me. So do you think it gave the full sense of security to the traders today?
I think so, because, on Friday we didn't close so poorly. So I know for me, I had multiple positions with a hedge, and then all of a sudden you saw the news, and I was like, oh, the futures could be down 10, 15 handles. And then, last night when they opened up, they were up 8. I was like, okay, maybe I could trade around my positions, and the strength in technology can continue, and perhaps, we get a run before the BOJ or the Fed, and it didn't happen. You look at the chart here of the S&P cash, and it is what it is. We're still, hovering above this 2-year range, and we're still in this lower wedge. But, the bottom line is some momentum was lost here when we lost the 8 and 21-day moving average. I've been talking about this lower wedge. When will it resolve and when will there be more clarity? Well, we don't really have it yet. The fact is that it pushed through this level this morning and squeezed some shorts out. I actually got squeezed out of my hedge and then came in and still in this range. So I think let this thing continue to range out before Wednesday, and then maybe on Wednesday we'll have more clarity. So don't do too much. All these misdirection type days are starting to chop some traders apart.
Okay. Last week, oil was a waning factor, and do you still consider it as a headwind instead of tailwind for the market? And also today, we see some news about a potential deal to stabilize the oil. So do you think the situation will improve?
Every time it seems to get cheaper or in the low 40s, they jawbone it back up. But today, oil started higher and got sold down a little bit. It was well off the highs. I think let's just simplify it. When oil is below 45, it's a little bit of a concern. When it's above 45, it's a little helpful. But that's not where the action is in this market.
Okay, speaking of tech sector had really good moving last week, and partly it was because of Apple. But today we saw Apple come down a little bit. So when will you buy it back, and do you think it will influence other tech names?
Well, Apple almost is its own asset class. And, about a week or so ago when the market looked a little shaky, I was like, maybe it'll become a security, name again. And maybe, people buy it because of the dividend and the buyback and the yield. And then all of a sudden the Samsung news, and all of a sudden the orders news, and it took off. Well, if you missed that move, you're probably happy that Apple came in a little bit today. For me, I think this is a spot that could be buyable, closer to 112 to 111. So if Apple were to pull back into this area, I think you could start buying it back. I would wait until at least this 112 and then let it test into this prior spot. So somewhere around here would be better. If you missed this double bottom, that happened in the earnings gap, remember that we were talking about it when it went in, did a red dog reversal, and then took out resistance. Well, now you have your first down day, so we'll see how does it handle this, just say 111 to 112. 50-ish, that I think would be a much better buyable spot.
And how about other tech names? Are they influenced by the Apple?
Well, sometimes, when all the money's flowing into Apple, other tech just consolidates. I think, people are saying, oh, Red Dog, what about Baba? Yep. Baba's been such a great name. I want to buy it. I'm I'm like, you know what? Just be a little careful. It had a big run. We've talked about the buy areas. So for BABA, you know what? I'm not in BABA, and I think that it does go higher, but we want to see where it pulls into. Okay, here is a spot. This is a little closer to 99, and then there's the 8-day. So far, the 8-day has been a nice roadmap to buy back. So this is day one down. Tomorrow, we'll see what does it do around this pivot. Maybe it does a red dog reversal, and you could buy it, or maybe it even goes a little bit lower. Look at this one. When it went to the 8-day, gave you a nice buyable dip. We'll see what happens here, but at this point, it's still very healthy. Yeah, so a little neutral, a little less is more. There are one-off trades, and if you read my note, I have about 25 different stocks in my note with different strategies that can make you money when the market's just, trying to figure out what's next, because there is individual stock selection and entries and exits matter.
就像斯高所说的，本周三我们将会收到更多央行的消息，而在此之前，希望您关注我们每天的分析。感谢您的收看，我们明天再见。